Well, I'm going to take you back to where I grew up. This is the area town where I grew up, and actually the place where I grew up, it's called Wesley Square. I wasn't really born in the area, but we moved to Wesley Square when I was a little kid, and we grew up in the projects. A place where I saw some things that I just never thought any kid should be able to see at that age. I saw murders, I saw rapes, I saw people getting drunk and high, and I made it a vow to myself that I did not want to live like this. I did not want to raise my children in this type of environment. So I made a conscious decision to say that I got to do something that will be better for me and my children. As a matter of fact, right upstairs, apartment 116, that's the place that we grew up. That's where I was raised most of our lives. We didn't have central air or central heat. We used the oven to heat up a 4-bedroom apartment. But 116 is where I was raised. And as I grew up, I kept telling myself, I said, there has to be more. And to give you my story, I met a gentleman that told me that I could become and have anything that I want. And he gave me the formula for doing it. I put his formula to the test, and lo and behold, I went into business at the age of 17 years old. And that's why I'm doing this movie, because I think the kids need to see more than just rappers, sports figures, entertainers, or drug dealers. So the one thing that I know, if I can do it, anybody can do it. If I can be successful, there's nothing special about me. I just have the determination and understand that if someone else has been successful, my mentality is I can be successful. Well, it's finally happened. And I've gotten angry enough to do something about it. I'm not sure if you know this, but sometimes anger is good. Anger is the strongest emotion in the world, and anger normally makes a person react with drastic measures. I've been angry for a very long time, and I've talked about it to many of my friends, family, and associates, and I've been told by some of my closest friends to stop talking and do something about it. Well, here it is. I was talking to my brother, who really isn't my brother, but one of my best friends last night, about a very serious subject that's affecting a certain sector of people. This is the type of subject that contains matters that we discuss all the time. Between the times I was telling him that none of our childhood friends like him because he's a police officer. We were talking, and he came up with an idea that solidified my passion, anger, and my legacy. Now, in my world, I know that everything happens for a reason, and I know that some people don't take advantage of the opportunities that they come across. I also know that all opportunities aren't good ones, but I couldn't allow this one to pass me by because it sums up everything that I have lived for. Before someone labels me as an angry black man, please watch the entire video to get the full understanding of what I'm saying. I know you really don't have time, but this video can and should change your life no matter who you are. I promise you, you have wasted more time on watching some sillier stuff in the past. Several years ago, I purchased a video production studio with the intention to change the curriculum of what is being perpetrated to the world by the media from the beginning of its existence. The discussion that I constantly had with my brother is how a particular race is going downhill so fast, slipping on a piece of ice from a steep mountain. And I know that I don't have to tell you which race I'm speaking of, do I? Can someone tell me how someone can manipulate a large sector of a particular race to sag their pants? Have you ever seen anything like this before? Does it make sense to you? I was at a courthouse when I saw this guy with his child and his wife. What type of power exists that can make a man change his way of walking and pull his pants down to have to hold them up to make them stay up so they won't fall off? How did something or someone teach an even larger sector of this same particular race how to call themselves that infamous abrasive N-word? Do you not remember how we were beaten if we didn't want to be called that? So why do so many people who look like me address each other with it?
You know, and the voice said, do you see any niggas?
No, they both at work.
Well, your ass need to be nimble.
Now, which is it, boy? You too scared? Hmm? I just hate niggers.
We got to understand, nigger is a global phenomenon.
Song two, nigga. Song two, nigga. Song two, nigga.
All fucking niggers must fucking hang.
When you came pulling in here, did you notice a sign on the front of my house that said dead nigger storage?
Jimmy, you know I ain't seen no shit.
Did you notice a sign in the front of my house that said dead nigger storage?
How much it gonna cost to turn one of them white-only pies into nigger pie?
I recently spoke to a gentleman that's about 70 years old, and he was using it, and I asked him, how in the world could you be manipulated to use this word? I can understand the young people who really don't understand the struggle, but not you. Now, I have to elaborate on this word for just a minute. I have a business associate who uses this word so much it has become a part of his vocabulary. It seems like every third word that comes out of his mouth is the N-word. Then he attempts to justify using it by saying that he only uses it with friends and family members, but what he doesn't understand is it's a degrading word, no matter who he uses it with. So why is it so easy for us to degrade each other with the N-word? Or calling your brother dog, or what's up fool? Why can't we use respectful words like sir, brother, or my friend? Think about the next time that you want to use the N-word. So if you use this horrible word, can you make a pledge right now not to ever degrade your people anymore? Let me tell you how this nothing has infiltrated my home. My daughter was 13 years old and I eavesdropped on a conversation. Yeah, I know I probably should have eavesdropped, but I did. Well, I heard my daughter use that N-word and I confronted her and she told me, well, Daddy, the young people took the power away from the word, so it's okay and it's powerless. Wow, she really don't understand what has happened to her. So I asked her, if someone walked up to her mother and addressed her with that B word, how would she appreciate it? She told me that she wouldn't appreciate it and it would make her angry. Then I asked her, what if they said that they changed the meaning? So she told me that it didn't change to her perception, so she would be angry and want to hurt that person despite what they said and how they disrespected her mother. Well, isn't it amazing how some system has taught us to do all that they used to do to us in the past? Degrade each other?
Now, this is not racist or anything, praise the Lord. But Satan used an African man and a white trash woman to give birth to this wicked spirit called Barack Hussein Obama. Barack's father did what 70% of all black men do: run off and leave and don't support. He is not black. He's white trash.
Kill each other?
As a black man, when you hear that 93% of black murder victims are killed by other blacks, do you think that blacks are their own worst victims?
Yes, and they are doing the work of the Klan. That's exactly what's going on here. And let me deal with this with Reverend Sharpton's comment for a second. So let me take the CNN contributor hat off for a moment. I've been the editor of 3 black newspapers, the editor of a black website, commentator for a black cable network, and I've also been the editor of a black magazine. And I have not covered a single rally where 50,000 African Americans were protesting on black crime. See, when you talk about protesting against police brutality, that's an easy one. That's an institutional system there where you have white officers, black victim, let's protest. African Americans must stand up and be accountable. And on my radio show on WVON, every time somebody black gets killed, we talk about it, and I say, when is enough enough? They are doing the work of the Klan, and they might as well own up to it. This is worse than what happened with lynching.
Hate each other?
I hate Barack Hussein Obama, who is nothing but a long-legged devil right out of the pit of hell. And if you don't mind my saying it, Jesus hates him too.
Stab each other in the back?
So I got news for you about niggas. The way they turned on Bill for Barack, I don't have to worry about them being against me. They'll come on back. They're fickle. They're not committed to anything. And if they commit to something, you can't trust them. They don't stay with anything very long. So if they mad with me now, y'all be glad with me tomorrow. All I got to do is get some government cheese and run through 3 government programs through here. And I do declare every nigger in Harlem will be coming to this church for the government program, and I know it.
Isn't this the best way to take control of someone that you don't like? And how many of us have been manipulated? I'll tell you exactly why, and let me explain it like this. Let's say that you are a man and you are a woman batterer, and you have been for years because this is the way that you were taught.
June 17th, 2007, Sean broke down my daughter's door. And he shot my baby multiple times, shooting her and killing her.
You only know what you are willing to know, and that's why I'm writing a book, and it's titled, If You're Taught Wrong, You'll Learn Wrong. If you learn wrong, you'll teach wrong. So you're a woman batterer, and one day you decide to leave this woman for some reason, so you tell her to get out of your house, and she leaves. After she leaves, she begins to rebuild her self-esteem, and then she finds someone who really loves her and respects her. Let's say 2 years pass, and you come to the realization that you can't find anyone to replace her, so you want her back. If you call her on the phone and tell her to come back after she's rebuilt her self-esteem and found someone whom she's in love with and treats her like a queen, what do you think she would say? If she recognizes your number on the caller ID, she probably wouldn't answer the phone. But if she did, she would probably say something like, oh no. Now, why would she say that? Because she now realized that the treatment that she received from you were reprehensible. Wouldn't you agree? Well, this is the same thing that happened to us from slavery. Oh, yeah, I know there are some people who are right now thinking, here you go again. He's speaking about slavery and that's in the past. Well, Lion King is one of my favorite movies, and this is how they express this idea.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not easy. I know what I have to do, but going back means I'll have to face my past. I've been running from it for so long. Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah, you see? So what are you going to do?
I've always wanted to be on someone's talk show and bring up the subject slavery and have someone say that to me to my face, that it's in the past. And at that point, I would reach over and slap out of them and say, hey, don't get mad at me because that's a couple of seconds in the past. Well, we were oppressed for over 400 years before the powers that be freed us. And please don't think for 1 minute that they freed us because of some civil war. The real reason that they freed us was because we finally united and we would meet up at night and start killing off the slave owners to try to stop the oppression. Then the powers that be came up with a master plan to pacify us to stop the killings. Of course, they wanted us to believe that all of a sudden they came up with a conscience. The powers that be gave President Lincoln the order to free the slaves, but they told him to make sure that we couldn't vote, own land, read a book, get married, and many other things that they had the rights to do. The word free was only a facade to stop the slaves from killing the slave owners and to force the slaves to continue to work for the slave owners as sharecroppers. I know what was printed in his storybooks, but can anyone be free without human rights? This was part of the organized genocide. Isn't it obvious that anyone would rebel from total oppression once they are free from their oppressor? They knew that we would act this way, just like the battered woman that I just spoke about earlier. Could you imagine how it would feel to be persecuted and your oppressor tells you that you are free, then they turn around and attempt to tell you what to do? Since we are now free, we realize that we could now say no without getting battered. Then they told us that we had to go to school, and we said, you can't tell us what to do anymore. This is why we overpopulate the prisons and not the colleges. When they said that we had to speak the proper English, we created ebonics. Look at how we wear our baseball hats. They're designed to block the sun, but we wear them to the side or to the back, thus eliminating the purpose of wearing it. Look at how we shake hands. Most of us have no idea of our heritage, culture, or tradition. We tend to gravitate to anything opposite of what they do or try to tell us to do, attempting to create something that we can call ours. The saddest part about our rebellious attitude is that they expected it. As long as we rebel against our oppressors, they are constantly prospering and making us look like fools. I know what you have been taught in his storybooks, but can you really see this word properly? It's his story, not ours. President Lincoln did as he was ordered and freed the slaves, but he took it upon himself, thinking that he had the power to do so because he was president, to sign into law by executive order the Emancipation Proclamation. As a matter of fact, he gave General Sherman the orders to start giving the land to the former slaves. This was designed to give reparations to the former slaves for the atrocities that were socially accepted by America. The reparations was to give the former slaves 40 acres and a mule. The combination of a 40-acre plot and a mule was widely recognized as providing a sound start for a family farm. The special field orders issued by Sherman were never intended to reflect an official policy of the United States government with regards to all former slaves, and were issued throughout the campaign to assure harmony of action in its areas of operations. Sherman's order specifically allocated islands from Charleston south of an abandoned rice field along the rivers for 30 miles back from the sea and the county bordering the St. Johns River in Florida. Brigadier General Rufus Saxton, an abolitionist, from Massachusetts was appointed by Sherman to oversee the selling of the free slave. By June of 1865, around 10,000 free slaves were settled on 400,000 acres in Georgia and South Carolina. After the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln, his successor, Andrew Johnson, revoked Sherman's orders and returned the land back to its previous Caucasian owners. This is just to show you the power and the influence of the powers that be. They were so angry at President Lincoln for taking it upon himself to issue this order, they killed him. By Andrew Johnson revoking that order, it only made things worse for the African descent people. Yes, I said African descent and not black. Before I explain the term African descent to the people who don't associate themselves with Africa, let me explain why I don't use the word black to describe a particular race. First, almost everything that is attributed to the word black is negative or derogatory. Black Monday, black listed, black bald, black male, black eye. The black cat means bad luck. The negative post on a battery is black. The devil food's cake is dark. Let me dig a little deeper. When they first stole us from our native land and brought us here, they called us slaves. We were beaten to submission to call ourselves slaves. Then they took our names that meant something to us in our country and gave us their names.
Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
Kunta Kinte.
When the master gives you something, you take it. He gave you a name. It's a nice name. It's Toby. And it's going to be yours till the day you die.
Then they labeled us with the atrocious N-word. Then we fought not to be called that. Then they pacified us with labeling us with the Negro. And what did we do? We embraced it and we created the Negro College Fund. Then they called us colored, even though that they are the ones who turn colors all the time. Then we created the NAACP, the National Association for Advancement of Colored People. Then they call us Afro-Americans, even if we didn't have afros. Then they came up with the term black. And again, we embraced it with black power, with all the intentions to gravitate to something that we could call ours and be proud of. Now, I know that there are many people who look like me that think this way.
You know, we're black. I don't mind being black. I love being black. I embrace that. I don't embrace the African part of it because I was born here. My great-grandparents were born here. Sure, we came here. Thank God 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 we landed here. And we triumphed here and we overcame here. But I don't consider anything about me African.
Isn't it even more amazing how a system can make a race hate their own race and deny their heritage? How can a system make a person totally ignore these facts? I'll tell you in a minute. But you have to understand this. His storybooks tell the story that we sold each other to the Caucasian people. Well, that did happen. But let me explain to you why it happened. When the Caucasian man came to Africa, we had never seen Caucasian people before, and we thought that they were our ancestors, so we welcomed them with open arms. I'm sure you have heard that the cliche that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in Africa, that's how we lived. We were a close-knit people. The Caucasian people came with guns and took us by surprise because we had no idea of their intentions. When they started killing our leaders, we gave in to stop the massacre, and that's how they turned us against each other. If you want to be treated better, you would warm up to the Caucasian slave owners to save your family and your children. That's why it's written that we sold each other. When the Caucasian people came to Africa, they noticed that we relied on nature and we didn't have medicine, so they called it witchcraft and voodoo. Well, isn't it funny that there's a GNC almost on every street corner selling herbs? Isn't it funny how they now have everyone on some pharmaceutical products that's killing you slowly? Getting back to the color black, you need to understand that black is a color. Do you know of any other country that label their people as a color? Have you seen a person from China? If you do, you call that person Chinese. If you see a person from India, you call him or her Indian. If you see a person from Japan, you call them Japanese. So why did you call me black? This is the color black. Have you ever seen anyone this color? This is the color white. Have you ever seen anyone this color? Yes, I know that Jesse Jackson promoted the term African American, but are we really African Americans? If we were part of America, wouldn't they have given us the reparations that they written into law? Remember, the powers that be did not want us to own land to pass down through generations because owning land would have given us power, in which they still today don't want us to have. Do you know that Americans paid reparations to the Japanese? Well, in 1988, Congress passed and President Ronald Reagan signed legislation that apologized for the internment on the behalf of the United States government. This legislation said that the government actions were based on race prejudice and hysteria and failure of political leadership. The United States government eventually dispersed more than $1.6 billion in reparations to the Japanese Americans who had been interned for their heirs. This was called the Japanese American internment. They apologized and paid $1.6 billion to the Japanese. Wow. Did the Japanese endure 400 years of oppression? Were they hung from trees? Were they enslaved? Some people think I'm a conspiracy theorist by thinking that there's a system that's controlling a certain sector of people. Well, if it isn't true, can you explain this?
Do you remember you were asked what skin color do you want? Do you remember which one you said?
Yeah, that one.
Which one?
This one.
Why do you want that skin color?
Because I don't know. I don't know.
Not sure? No. What do you think of that skin color?
Well, it looks kind of whitish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? Why do you want that skin color?
Because it looks lighter than this kind, because this looks a lot like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't like the way brown looks, because the way brown looks really nasty for some reason, but I don't know what reason. That's all.
And Brielle, they asked what color adults don't like. Do you remember what you said? Which one? That's right, that's what you said. Why do you think adults don't like that color?
Dark.
And then which was the ugly child?
That one.
Show me the dumb child.
Dumb child?
Okay, why is she the dumb child?
Because she has black skin.
Okay. Show me the bad child. Why is he the bad child?
Because he's really dark.
Show me the dumb child. Why is she the dumb child?
Because she looks black.
Show me the good child. Why is she the good child?
Because she looks whiter.
Show me the child you would like to have as a classmate. Why would you like to have him as a classmate?
Because he's white.
Show me the child who has the skin color most adults like. And show me the child who has the skin color most adults don't like.
Well, show me the ugly child. And why is she the ugly child?
Because she's black.
Show me the good-looking child. And why is she the good-looking child?
Because she's light skinny.
Can you show me the child that has your skin color?
Yeah.
Okay. Show me the child that has the skin color you want.
I want that one.
Okay. Show me the child who has the skin color you don't want.
Do you think that their parents taught them this? Did you see any other child pick a different race and degrade theirs? Did we teach ourselves this? Well, it's the media. And how was it done? Let me show you how. If you go back when it was first formed, when mass media was first created, the radio, look at how they depicted us.
All right, now listen, you stay here. I'll get in the cab with the kid out here, you see, and I'll phone you when the job is over. And if the cops get wise, beat it and leave the kid there. I want to get him out of the way anyhow. And don't forget to get every fur coat they've got in the joint. Leave it to me, kid. I'll see you later, Earl. All right, so long, Spud. Good luck to you, boy. Now watch yourself. Taxi cab? No, sir, mister. Somebody phoned me for the taxi cab. I was waiting here for a call that I got. Well, I'm the guy that phoned you.
Then when television was created, look at what they made us look like.
How come you all know that song?
Why, do you know it, Queenie?
For sure I does. But I didn't ever hear anybody but colored folks sing that song. Sounds funny for Miss Julie to know it.
Julie sings it all the time.
Comes back
And throughout the times of television, they constantly depict us as idiots. They fed us good times.
Hi. Michael, what are you doing home so early? I got a ride in Sweet Daddy Williams' car. Check it out, Mama. 2 of his dudes picked me up in his silver and avocado Cadillac. Mama, that is one bad set of wheels. It's got tiger skin upholstery, a stereo, a TV, a built-in bar, and check this out. They even got a telephone in the car.
A telephone?
Yeah, I guess that's just in case, they run out of gas. They can just dial up and order another Cadillac.
Sanford and Son.
It's very simple. Lamont Sanford is my son.
What did you say, nigga?
The Jeffersons.
Florence, you are speaking to a jackass.
Woman just called my wife a jackass. I don't believe it.
Me neither. You should have dropped the jack.
Florence, I'd like some champagne.
Did you hear what they said to me?
There, dear. What can you expect? Mrs. Jefferson's obviously a boor.
Nigga, what the hell did you say?
What's happening?
Now just imagine this on television, getting people to buy a Bridge burger. First you take a piece of meat, then you broil it in some heat, then you shove it in a bun, but you've just begun the fun.
Yeah.
Well, it must be at least $100. $350. $350 for a watch? Nigga, please.
And when they would allow us in the movies, you would always know who would be killed first, or we would be someone's servant.
For so many years, Negroes have suffered in the state of Mississippi.